All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're cracking open a tactical report that feels like it's from the future, but it's really about right now. It's dated February 5th, 2026, and it's basically a defense manual for a huge economic shift that's already happening under our feet.
The whole thing kicks off with this bombshell of a statement. Now, this isn't just predicting some future trend, it's flat out declaring that a fundamental part of the digital economy is already broken. The report calls it the SaaS apocalypse, and believe me, it's the key to understanding everything else we're about to cover.
So what in the world is this SaaSopocalypse? Well, at its core, it's a massive shift in what businesses are willing to pay for. For decades, we've paid for the tools our employees use. Now, we're moving to a world where we just pay for the results that AI can generate all by itself.
And this slide right here lays it out perfectly. The old model? Simple. You've got employees, you buy software licenses or seats for them. The value was always the human using the tool. But the new model, this agentic model, flips that completely. You don't buy the tool anymore, you just pay an AI for the finished product. And the really critical part to see here is that the human labor is stuck in the middle, all the coordinating, the managing, the emailing, that value is just evaporating, fast.
Okay, so that's the threat. It sounds pretty intense, right? But the good news is this manual doesn't just sound the alarm and run away. It gives us a really clear two-part strategy to get through this. It's called the barbell strategy.
And here's the strategy in a nutshell. Think of it like a weightlifting barbell. On one end, you have to anchor in reality. That means owning real physical stuff, the world of atoms, like energy infrastructure and land. But on the other end, you have to control the swarm. That's about mastering this new digital world, becoming an expert at managing armies of AI agents. It works because it forces you to balance the grounded physical world with the chaotic digital one. You build a foundation in reality while learning to command the chaos.
Let's break this down. Pillar 1 is all about you, your job, your income. The game plan here is to stop being a manager of people and tasks and start becoming an architect of automated systems. And, this is key, an architect of liability.
So the guide wants you to ask yourself this gut check question, and I want you to really think about it. Is your job measured in emails sent and meetings attended? Because if your main role is just shuffling information around, you are in a very vulnerable spot. The value is shifting big time to the people who can design, approve, and most importantly, take responsibility for the automated workflows.
This table just spells it out. Look, managing people's tasks, generic coding, those are becoming commodities. The real value, the durable skills, are in building the logic that tells an AI what to do, especially when things go wrong. But look at that second row, monetizing liability. This might be the most important idea here. In a world of AI agents, who's the most valuable person in the room? It's the human who's willing to be the final checkpoint, the one who signs off and says, if this AI loses $1 million, it's on me. That person becomes the rarest, most valuable resource in the whole system.
And that same thinking applies directly to your investments. The whole thesis is incredibly simple. The cost of software is plummeting towards zero. But the AI's hunger for electricity, it's basically infinite. This points to a huge portfolio shift. You want to be underweight in companies that are just selling software seats, and overweight in the real, physical stuff that powers all this AI. We're talking power plants, grid infrastructure, data centers. All right, so you're working on future-proofing your own career. That's great. But what about your kids? This next pillar is all about preparing the next generation for a world where the career ladder we all climbed, well, it's missing the first few rungs. The report calls this problem the junior cliff. And it makes perfect sense when you think about it. How did most of us learn our jobs? By doing the grunt work, right? The boring, repetitive tasks. But now AI does all that stuff for free. So that entire first level of apprenticeship jobs is just vanishing. It creates this huge cliff that's going to be incredibly hard for young people to get over.
So what do? The advice here is to steer them towards fields where AI is actually pretty weak. An AI can't build a physical bridge or invent a new material, so hard engineering is a great bet. And, get this, the humanities are making a huge comeback. Skills like philosophy and logic are not soft skills anymore. They're basically the source code for teaching an AI how to reason and behave ethically. It's about teaching them how to think, not just what to code.
So instead of just learning to code in a vacuum, the guide suggests projects like this one. Build a swarm of AI agents that have to work together. You see, the valuable skill here isn't just telling one agent to scrape the web. It's managing the complex dance between all of them to make sure the final result is actually accurate and trustworthy. That's orchestration. That's the new valuable skill. And that brings us to our final pillar, protecting your family. This is all about building a simple, low-tech analog firewall to defend against some very scary, high-tech fraud. This is especially important for protecting older family members.
And here's why this is so critical. The threat is that AI voice clones and video deepfakes are getting so good, so perfect, that you literally cannot trust your own ears or eyes anymore. That panicked phone call you get from a loved one asking for money, it might not be them. All our old ways of verifying who we're talking to are about to become useless.
Because the threat is digital, the defense has to be analog. This protocol is simple, but it is incredibly powerful. Your entire family agrees on a secret, safe phrase, something personal, an inside joke, an obscure memory that no computer could ever guess. And the rule is simple and absolute. No money gets sent, no passwords get shared, nothing happens until the person asking gives that phrase. You have to practice this with your family until it's second nature.
The report also gives 2 really clear financial tactics. First, take your emergency fund, 6 to 12 months of expenses, and put it somewhere safe and disconnected from the chaos of the market, like T-bills or even just a local credit union. Second, go into your retirement accounts and turn off any automatic sell triggers, like stop losses. This is your defense against a rogue AI causing a flash crash and selling all your assets at the absolute worst time.
Whew, okay, we have covered a ton of ground, from your career to your kids to your family's safety, but this whole thing is about taking action. So to wrap it all up, here is your 7-day action plan.
These are 4 things you can start doing this week. Number 1, do the security audit. Call your family, set up that safe phrase, and actually test it. 2, look at your 401k. Are you way too exposed to old-school software companies? 3, audit your own skills. Find just one tedious workflow in your job and start thinking about how you could automate it. And 4, check in on your kids' education. Are they just learning to code, or are they learning to think in systems? You can get started on all of this today.
And that brings us to the final question from this manual, and it really sums up this entire shift we've been talking about. The value in the world is moving away from just passively owning things and toward actively orchestrating complex systems. It is a huge change in how we need to think about skills, about wealth, and about security. And getting ready for it is probably the most important strategic move any of us can make right now.